So today we'll talk about generalities of the new CEBIS touch monitor. First thing is we have two screens. We have what we call road travel mode as well as our working mode. So you can see different menus depending on if we're on the road or in the field. Some nice things about the road mode is if you get the rear view camera, you can have that displayed in your monitor. If you tap it, you can have the rear view camera show up. If you're trying to hitch onto a wagon or just backing up, you can have that full screen. If we go into the field working mode, we have a lot of different things that we can touch with the monitor to adjust. First one is our job counter. We can have 1 through 20 jobs, or if you get the task management, you can load up jobs from like Trimble, Agley, or whatever into here to have more detailed looking jobs. The chopper icon you see is green. That will show what this is here, where you can change your different settings on the machine. If you get cameras, so like your rear camera, you can have pop up there if you want to look at the stubble of the forage harvester, if you're making sure you're picking up the crop, or when you're backing up to something else. You can also make it go full screen to have a really good visibility as well. We do offer with cameras, you can have rear backup camera, you can have the Profi camera on the spout, or with autofill you can have the autofill show up there, or as well as one of these three boxes. So in these three boxes here on the side, you can adjust to whatever you would like to see in them. So if you want, so this is setting up our header heights and flotation. This is just a normal display one. You can change what you see on display one, so you have plenty of different things. So if you want to see fuel level on there, you can have fuel level, and then always a double arrow gets rid of the screen, and see there you can have fuel level. And the bottom one, just for example, we're showing we have the new ActiSiler 37 showing the details of what it's doing with fuel level, temperature, how much is left, if it's active or not active, that type of thing. The main things to look at here is in the working menu is we've got our different things we can change. So there's many ways that you can change this number. The first way is you can move the arrow back and forth by sliding your finger on the screen. You can use the plus minus key to change the length of cut, or you can tap on the number and type in the length of cut that you want. And then the last one is over on the right hand side of the armrest, the back button. It looks like a knife cutting through some lines. You can manually adjust the length of cut there without having to touch the screen. So if you're going through the field and want to just adjust the length of cut a little bit, you can do that from the buttons on the side. And then you can see the screen goes away. Across the bottom, we'll get into our hotkey functions, our favorite menu. You can see your ground speed at the bottom. You can see if you're in first gear or second gear, as well as you can see with a full drive machine, if the green tires are green, that means it's in two-wheel drive. If the back tires turn green, it's in four-wheel drive. You can see your park, and then you'll have all the other options that you can see when they're activated. When they're activated, they will turn green. Favorites menu. On the new CMOS handle, if you have the CMOS handle, you can have favorites menu. When you hit the arrow up and down, you can choose which one you want. You see the green box? As soon as you let off of the button, and you see down here in the bottom, that's what you have selected. If you're used to the old CLAAS chopper, the trigger switch in front of the handle that used to run the contouring side to side for your corn head or your roller crop press, that's the button. You can now assign 7 different functions. So now if you want to raise your spout up and down, use the roller crop press button because we have spout. Now if we move it to air horn, now just tap the button and you can hear that the air horn goes. So we have different menus to do that. And then when you go into the setting menu and come to favorite management, this is where you can assign which ones and which position that you want. So if you want front attachment something different, you can assign all of these different options. So the favorites menu is a very, very nice feature. All you gotta do is hit your button up and down to change that function. Let's talk about the drive menu. When we select the drive menu, the first one is when we put our throttle to the middle position of how high it will throttle up. So currently we have it at 1800. The next one is our driving strategy. So when we push our joystick forward and back, the higher the number, the more aggressive it'll feel. So it's kind of like associating it between a little 4-cylinder car versus a car with a V8 and how responsive the joystick is. The next one is our CMOS auto performance. We can assign how much power we put to the front axle or rear axle in full drive. So if you're in really muddy conditions with a corn head and the rear tires are spinning, you can assign more power to the front tires to equal that out. The pulses per 1000 are just simply if you've changed tires to calibrate your ground speed. And then the last one is your tire pressure. This is an option from CLAAS. You can set in the field your field working pressure as well as your road pressure. If you do a lot of roading with your forage harvester, this is really an important feature, because in the field we can make it ride really nice, as you can see at 15.7 psi. But when we're on the road and roading long distances with this heavy machine, especially if you've got an Orbis 900 on, having your tires aired up to the proper pressure will keep them from flexing as much on the sidewalls and will protect your tires better. Next menu that we need to take care of is the quantimeter. It's a little wheat head with crop. This is where we adjust the tonnage meter and calibrate the tonnage meter and turn on the moisture sensor. So the first is the crop type. Maize is corn, grass, lucerne is alfalfa, sorghum, whole crop is wheat. One tip or trick out there in the market is if you're doing pre-boot or slightly above pre-boot, I recommend for the moisture meter for the most accuracy to pick grass. If the crop is fully headed out or mostly headed out, then try to pick whole crop. There's a wide range for the moisture meter for this type of crop, so you might have to select which one is the best. The test weighing. So when we want to calibrate the yield monitor, we come into this menu, hit on. We go chop our load. When we're done chopping our load, we hit off. Then it'll have counted the chopper how many tons it thought it did. When you know the tons, you don't have to do it right away. You can wait until you find out what the tons are from the scale. You'll hit a little button above here that'll tell it, and then you can enter in the net tons. When you enter in the net tons, it will change then this calibration number. The next one is our ingredient sensor. So you can turn on and off the moisture sensor. If you get the option from CLAAS, it's an extra option, you can get ingredients. So Asylum is starch, fiber, protein, ash, and fat. And this is where also you can change it from dry matter to moisture to read out on the monitor. Another nice feature is if you want to really pay attention to how full you're filling the wagons, you can have up to 3 different trailers and how many tons you chop. So when you start chopping into a truck, it'll start counting up, and so if you have truck 1 selected in the monitor, it'll fill it to 12 tons, and then it'll give you a message on the screen telling you, hey, I'm at 12 tons. Then when you stop, all you gotta do is hit the head forward button and it'll reset. And now if maybe you want truck 3 underneath you use your function button and move it to truck 3, and then it'll chop until you hit 16 tons and it'll give you an alert that you're at 16 tons. But you can change the tons to whatever you want in those 3. So in the job counter, we can come in and we can look at a job. We can clear the job. We can look at the information. So in the job counter, we can see cutting hours. We can see our fuel consumption, our tons per hour. We can see the average moisture. If you have moisture meter as an option, you can see how much inoculant you put on as well. We can come in here to reset it. All you do is push to reset it. You can start the job, and you can calibrate even how many acres if you know what the field has for true acres. The next is the counter menu. So if you hit your daily recorder, you can come in and see this is your resettable recorder. You can again here see your hours, travel distance, fuel consumption. You can see how many tons you chopped, how much inoculant you put on, as well as if you're trying to see what the true average of the moisture of the crop is, come in here, reset it. And this is where we recommend you then to go chop a load and then come in here, and then you can see your average moisture and your average dry matter, and that is a pretty good indication of what that truck averaged. And then also you have your total sum. So you can see with this machine it has 362 engine hours, the cutter head hours, and it gives you all of that information. Service menu. You can come in and clear out your reminders. To do that, just hit the arrow, hit yes, and it also gives you all the things that you should check for when at your different service hours. So you can follow the owner's manual as well. Central lube. You can do a one-time lubing of the machine. This is where you can learn end stops of different sensors, maintenance settings. If you want with hydraulic pre-compression, if you want to raise the feed rolls up, you can do that. You have your vehicle information, which gives out voltages, temperatures, and you can look at all the different sensors. If you're having an issue, you can look these up. Engine diagnostics. You can have some alarm histories. You can see the software versions on the modules. You can see the languages. Telematics. We highly encourage everybody to be using their telematics. Telematics is free for the first year. You can use the app, or you can use the web-based program to see your machine, look at the status of the machine, and all that good information.